Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles. I have to confess, I really did not want to do a video today. Kinda looks like a video to me, Jingles. What changed? Good question. Glad you asked. Well, I spent the weekend at Tankfest, obviously, and it was really hot. I got myself sunburnt, so I'm in actually quite a considerable amount of pain. And when I got home, the heat wave continued, and I can't run my air conditioning while I'm recording video because all you hear in the background is the air conditioning. So I really was not looking forward to doing a video for Tuesday. And then I watched this replay. Yeah, I'm laughing. I know what's coming next. And I just knew I had to do this. This video had to happen. This is P.E.K.K.A 41 in the Japanese Tier 6 Super Heavy, the OI. It's a Tier 6 battle on the Serene Coast map. Now, when you're in one of these monsters, there's not an awful lot in the enemy team that's usually capable of actually hurting you. I honestly have no idea why Wargaming thought it was a good idea to put these tanks in the game. I mean, I don't know, maybe they thought they weren't selling enough premium ammunition. It seems like a likely enough explanation. But when you've got this much armour, and most of the tanks that you face you can do this to, that poor T-40. It's like a KV-2, except tougher. There is a KV-2 in this battle, by the way. It's on the enemy team. We're going to be seeing him later. But this battle was special, for all the wrong and all the right reasons. Like that Electo, for example. Does he not realise he's basically driving a Bren gun carried with an anti-tank gun? And you're driving on the inside of the bay where all of the enemy tanks can see you, and oh look, he's dead. The first of many. Don't worry, plenty more where that one came from. It's going to get a lot worse before it starts getting any better. It's not as if there weren't tough tanks in World of Tanks before the Japanese heavies were introduced. Goodbye, Mr. Panzer IV. P.E.K.K.A, by the way, has figured out that it's actually quite impressive that he's realised this early on that there is absolutely no point in continuing to extend further around this flank, and he's turning around to head back. At this point, they're only losing by one kill, but it's as if his spider sense is tingling, and he knows that he's going to be needed back at the base very, very soon. That Su-85B, by the way, alright, he doesn't have a shot at him now. He's looking for the shot, and didn't have it, he kept crossing the river. That Type 64 is going to be the one to kill him. Now that's going to be quite important when you see the final result of this match. I mean, the final result of this match is still going to defy description, okay? There goes the Su-85B. Almost. Nope. Type 64 has killed him. So, while P.E.K.K.A makes his way back to the base, and the score keeps getting worse and worse, let's just go back to the point that I was discussing earlier. It's not as if there haven't been tough tanks in World of Tanks prior to the introduction of the Japanese Super Heavies. The Mark III Churchill, for example, the Tier 5 Premium, the Lend-Lease version. I have very, very old videos playing the Mark III Churchill and driving along the Western Road on Prokhorovka, just getting shot at and shot at and shot at by enemy tanks and bouncing every shot, and literally just driving up that road and killing everything in front of me. But that was a long time ago, and there have been a lot of machines introduced at and around Tier 5 that can easily deal with the Churchill's armour. It's no longer the terror that it used to be. Under certain circumstances, the British Matilda at Tier 4 can be a very tough nut to crack. And I've shown replays where... oh, hold on a second. Watch this shit. There we go. Derp. Didn't quite kill him, but you'd think he would now have a healthy respect for whatever just shaved 80% of his health off with one shot, yeah? Yeah, you'd think that, and you'd be wrong. He pops back on the other side of the railway embankment, momentarily disappears, and it's not as if P.E.K.K.A isn't spotted here, and then he just pops up and silhouettes himself again in more or less exactly the same place, and now he's dead too. The scores are 4-12. They're going to get worse before they start to get any better. But yes, I have featured replays where, for example, you've had a Mark IV Matilda, last tank left alive on the team, surrounded by countless enemies, and they just couldn't kill it. But again, these are kind of old replays. It's been years since I've seen anything like that happen in World of Tanks. I thought those days were long gone. And then Wargaming introduced the Japanese Super Heavies. Pekka 41 is now one of only 2 tanks left alive on his team against 11 enemies. And pretty soon he's going to be all on his own. And then he finds this spot. And it's almost tailor-made for the situation he's found himself in. As long as he doesn't run into any KV2s. Oh no, it could all be over very soon, and it is, but not for Pekka. And there goes the KV2. One-shotted. He's now the last tank left alive on his team against 10 enemies. And there are still tanks on the enemy team that can damage him, but they pretty much have to get around his sides. Well, not so much his rear, but definitely his sides in order to do that. But how can they do that? Look at where he is. Well, the T-67 has a gun that can definitely penetrate his side armour, but that's not going to work. All he succeeded in doing is adding an extra couple of meters to the 70mm of side armour that he already has. The SU-100 can probably kill him, but not if you do that. And now, the SU-100 has added another couple of meters to the 150mm of frontal armour that he already has. This tank has 150mm at the front, the turret is 150mm all round, the sides are only 70. Yeah, it's got nearly as much at the side as the KV has at the front, and the rear is 105. Now, at this point, you'd think that somebody on the enemy team might come to the realisation that perhaps it would be a good idea if somebody would actually start capping. And somebody on the enemy team was capping, but, well, I think it was that guy over there in the little keyhole. And I think he was only really driving through the cap circle, more through luck than judgment. He was looking for a way to get shots into the last enemy tank alive. And if he'd stayed in there, well, they may very well have won by now. But even if they hadn't, Pekka 41 would have been forced to give his side armour to all of these enemy tanks and tank destroyers in order to get out and prevent the cap. But he didn't. And so Pekka 41 is now 1 kill short of the Pool's medal, and he's rapidly running out of enemy tanks to kill. Oh, it's a Swedish M43 tank destroyer. You know, I think even with a 105mm gun and premium ammunition, he can't penetrate the turret of an OI. And you know we can see you over the top of this SU-100, yeah? No? Next! Now there are only 4 of them left. Who's feeling brave? Maybe, while there's still 4 of you left alive, maybe one of you should think about capping. How about that? Does that sound like a good idea? You know, while there are still tanks on the team that can potentially threaten the side armour of Pekka's Japanese super heavy tank. No? Nobody wants to think about capping. How about you in the keyhole? Because you were capping earlier, and if you'd stayed in the cap circle, there he goes. If he'd stayed in the cap circle, they would have won the game by now. But it's that no cap, kill all mentality, isn't it? Everybody wants to do damage. How's that working out for you guys? There are 2 of you left alive. How do you rate your chances now? I think you might have left it a little bit too late. Look, tell you what guys, you're a pair of light tanks. If you run, you may not win, but you could force a draw and you would at least get out of this alive. Nope. Really? Well, actually it's worse than that. An 18-ton tank just tried to ram a 150-ton tank. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm going to hazard the guess that the driver of that Covenanter didn't major in physics at university. Although, to be completely fair to the Covenanter, the 30-odd shots that he pumped into him didn't seem to have any effect, so he didn't have an awful lot to lose by trying. Now, where did the Keyho go? Last tank left alive on the enemy team. He doesn't appear to be feeling quite as brave as he was earlier, and unsurprisingly, is no longer attempting to cap. Not with the Godzilla tank sitting in the same cap circle. But where did he go? Because how depressing would it be if this match was to result in a draw, with the Keyho simply and very sensibly scurrying away as quickly as his tiny little underage tank tracks will carry him. Because let's face it, if I was in his position, that's exactly what I would be doing right now. And I suspect you all probably would be too. Although then again, if I was in his position, I would have started capping 5 minutes ago, and I wouldn't have stopped. So let's not credit him with too much intelligence just yet. But you're never going to catch that guy if he doesn't want to be found. Now, is it even possible for an OI to make it in the time remaining to the enemy base and win by capping? And what happens if you get halfway there and then the base capture alarm starts going off? Well, it appears that our little friend in the keyhole has seriously overestimated exactly how far an OI can travel in the time that it took him to double back and attempt to start winning by capping once again. Only this time he means it. And yep, there he is. Yep, you busted. And off he goes again. And once again, there is no way P.E.K.K.A 41 is going to catch that guy. Not in this thing. It's a 150-ton tank. However, where's he going to go? Because let's think about this. Because he headed that way, the only way out is to cross either the bridge or the ford, or drive straight across the front of P.E.K.K.A 41's line of sight. And as if by magic... Yes. Yes, that really just happened. So, now I hope you're sitting comfortably because this may take some time. Let's just count the awards. So there's Ace Tanker, Hand of God, Bruiser, Duelist, Fire for Effect, and Shellproof. And those are just the thanks for turning up awards. Now for the epic battle achievements. Razanai Heroes Medal. Destroy the entire enemy team. I have never seen one of these. You have to kill at least 14 tanks. So, if not for that Type 64, he would have killed the entire enemy team. I am absolutely confident of that. But only one tank on his team was capable of killing anything. And that was the Type 64 that killed the Su-85B. Of course, he also got the Kolobanov's medal for standing alone against 5 or more enemy tanks and winning. I think standing alone against 10 enemy tanks deserves some kind of upgrade to the Kolobanov's medal. He also got the Naiden's medal for all of the enemy light tanks that he killed, i.e., well, all of them. The Cool-Headed Award, surviving at least 10 ricochets and non-penetrations. At least. High Caliber, unsurprising. Steel Wall, unsurprising. And Top Gun, equally unsurprising. But what's most surprising is that none of this is really surprising at all. I mean, considering the tank he was driving and the opposition that he was facing, although the KV-2 could have given him problems, as could the Su-100, but, well, they didn't. And I don't mean to take anything away from P.E.K.K.A 41's achievement here, because that was one hell of an entertaining battle to watch. And I'm very, very grateful that he sent it in. But are any of us really surprised when you've got tanks like this at Tier 5, that these kind of results are even possible in this day and age, with a kind of power creep that has reduced tanks like the Churchill III to just a relic of a bygone age? But you can still get those kind of results without anybody raising too much of an eyebrow in a Japanese Super Heavy. Yeah, I don't think so. But nevertheless, P.E.K.K.A 41, thank you very much for sending that one in. It cheered me up on an otherwise pretty shitty day. So thank you very much. And I hope everybody else enjoyed it, because that's it for today. As always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.